It's midnight one day around here after a 13-hour day at the ballpark. And he was still here with a Sharpie. And he said, hey, can you sign my bucket cap?
Yeah, I could promise you he has used the QR.
It's just different.
Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it.
Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of SAT Sports with yours truly, Marcus. On the show today, I got a very special guest where we'll be talking LSU and the College World Series and a lot more. He's been an internet sensation for the last few weeks, and I've known him personally as Keagan Simon, but everyone knows him as Buckethead. How you doing today, Keagan?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm just getting fired up. You know, I'm just like you. I was watching Virginia and Florida, getting ready catch up with the College World Series. I know I missed probably a big upset with TCU and Oral Roberts, but that was holy shit right there. But it's going to be good. And it's kind of sad, you know, the troll you've been getting online, you're not even in Omaha right now. I figured you'd have been on the first flight with the team.
Yeah, man. I really wish I could have won, but I got some stuff going on over here with work and all the stuff I can't back out of. So I sadly had to miss this year, but I'm still keeping the spirit up for the boys that every game we're going to play, I'm going to wear the bucket for the whole game.
And you're with them at Spirit for this weekend. I'm pretty sure they got like a rally buckethead or something going on. You've been kind of on a trend lately. I mean, before we get to any of that, you know, for the listeners who don't know this, you know, me and this guy have known each other for a long time. We actually grew up a street apart. Like you're a street over me. Our sisters are in the same grade. They're about to be sophomores now. So,
yeah,
for those listeners, tell them a little bit. What's up?
I mean, you can essentially count my little sisters as like basically sisters because they always hang out with each other. I mean, that was one way how me and you got to know each other really well too, was through them because they're always hanging out with each other.
Yeah, and then your parents knew my parents for a long time. So, and you're kind of like, you're in your early 20s. You're around like the same age as one of my first cousins you actually graduated with. So, you know, for the listeners who don't know who you are, you know, just tell them a little bit about yourself. Like, you know, what made you want to go to LSU, your heart, love and passion for them, what you going to school for, and all that.
Shit. I've always wanted to go to LSU for school. This was always on like people always ask what was a goal of mine in life, and my answer was always go to LSU for school, go to LSU for school. Like I busted my ass day in and day out, you know, like making sure my academics were top tier, to where I can get into school. And then fun fact, actually, like with my application. So the lady that came to LSU from LSU to Lake Arthur High to like recruit kids to go, she actually read my application to LSU and she told me that I had one of the strongest GPAs that she's ever seen of an applicant. And that's how I got accepted within 2 weeks of me putting in my application.
Wow. And yeah, I know you did graduate with honors in your class. Were you one of the valedictorians, I think, or salutatorians?
Yep, I was the only male student in that class out of the 9 valedictorians we had.
Wow. See, that was not that long ago, but it's like, I remember being there because my first cousin graduated with you and she was one of the valedictorians also. And it's just so much to keep up with. I mean, we got a lot of intelligence from our alma mater. We can't even keep up with alma maters these days with who got valedictorian and whatnot. Back in the day, it was like only 4 to 6 people would get it. Now there's like 15, 20 kids now these days getting it.
Yeah, because like, I mean, I was always like told that it was like 1 or 2 valedictorian, you know, the rest would be salutatorians and stuff. And I was just, you know, kept busting my ass day in and day out in the classroom and shit to where I'd understand the work and make the grades I needed to. So, I mean, if I'm honest, you know, valedictorian was just a plus for me to help get into school. My main focus was just getting here to LSU.
Hell yeah. So I'm sure you get asked this a lot. I saw your news clip and whatnot. Tell them about the legend of the bucket. Like I remember you were telling me about it. You gave it a try, but like, what game was it? How long you've been doing it? Like you said, you just found a popcorn bucket and just put it on your head, and it went from there.
So this is my second season with the bucket. So last season we had Towson and Southern for like a 3-team weekend series between us, Towson and LSU. And the Friday night we were playing Towson, and we were messing around with Towson's right fielder, and he was interactive with us and everything. And he ended up signing a guy's cowboy boot and stuff because the guy just kept messing with him, and he agreed to sign it. So we were joking around after the same guy got a baseball that he wanted the right fielder to sign. He says, let's just find a whole bunch of random stuff for that guy to sign. Well, as soon as one guy said that statement, a kid eating popcorn out of a bucket showed up on the video board. And the same guy looked at me and says, dude, you got to grab a bucket for him to sign. And I'm like, all right, I'll go and grab one. When we were on our way to go meet the right fielder at the end of the game, somebody left one of their buckets and didn't throw it away. I grabbed it, and come to find out the right fielder and the center fielder signed it from Towson. And James, the right fielder, he said, you should wear it as a hat next time we play y'all. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. So Sunday, when we played him again, I wore it. And I just had like a bunch of people tell me that like they enjoyed it because, it was something tacky within the student section. That was like, one of the few things that's like what makes the student section. You got kids doing crazy stuff for it, having fun with it. And I just kept it going ever since.
And I think it was like the first few games of that first year you were doing it, you were getting like players from the opposing team signing it at first. I remember you telling me that.
So what all I would try to do is get the opposing right fielders to sign it, because it's like, opposing right fielder James, I mean, he signed the bucket and told me to wear it as a hat. So I just kept it going with, get as many opposing right fielders to sign it as I can by the season's end. So, if they would be interactive and look at me during the game, I would ask them to sign it. And if they said yes, I would always meet them at the end of the game at their gate, at where their bus was at, and have them sign it.
Yeah. It's about how many total signatures you have now. And that's including like LSU names and legends. We all know, like, the whole world knows now you got the one and only Ben McDonald to sign your bucket during regionals against Tulane and Sam Houston and company. But about how many total players you think you got signed it? And that's including LSU.
So this season, I probably got 15 to 16 signatures right now on the bucket, because Sunday night after the Super Regionals, Riley Cooper walked out. And I wasn't truly paying attention because I was like trying to look for something on my phone regarding posts and everything. I think I was actually talking with Josh Pearson. I was trying to find him the TikTok of me and him together, how they did an edit of me, then Josh hitting the home run, and then me going absolute crazy. They said Riley Cooper pointed at me and then like made it kind of like towards making it a point of come and see me and all that stuff. And then I asked Riley to sign it. And he did. So the only other LSU player I had was just Riley, along with Ben McDonald.
Yeah, speaking of Ben McDonald, like, of course, I don't think we want to talk about the struggle of trying to watch baseball the last couple of weeks with all these delays and whatnot. But I remember I think it was the Sam Houston game, y'all were in that major delay where you actually got your conversation with Ben McDonald and you posted your picture on social media. And he even brought it up while the game's going on. So, like, what y'all talked about?
So, Friday when we played Tulane, I kind of did as like a little joke thing that I wore a cutoff t-shirt underneath my baseball jersey, that when I got on the board I would take it off and do like a little flex cam and stuff like that, have a little fun with it. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't wear my baseball jersey for that whole game, so I got a little burnt and everything. And then I got on the board again for the Sam Houston Oregon State game. Just dancing around, having a good time, because they had like a little dance cam going on, and I was mainly the only student back in the student section because I was messing around with the right fielders. So he was joking around, asking me how the sunburn was, and that if the shower I took hurt and stuff because of the sunburn. And then he asked me if I was still in school, if I'm taking any summer classes and everything.
Oh, well, that's good. Speaking of, let's talk about one of these dance moves in particular, because I saw your sisters. They came to my parents and them's house not long ago, probably about a week ago. It was before Super Regionals, and then I just was like, I was just astounded seeing you on national television like that, and I was like, asked them 10,000 questions, and then they asked me, what the hell was he doing to begin with? And I think I knew what they meant, and that's why I asked them, and they didn't know. So I'm gonna ask you. You got to explain this dance move right here.
Buckethead's back. Buckethead does not miss a game. He's looking at you, Big McDonald. You signed that bucket, didn't you? I did. I signed it yesterday for him.
The whole doing that, and then that just was the signature moment. Like, I made it. Like, where'd you get this from?
So if I'm honest, like all the dance moves I do, I don't plan it out. Like I catch a vibe to the song that was playing, and actually the song playing that during that time was Josh Pearson's walkout song, which is Fergalicious. So I mean, I was just like,
Okay.
I know it's kind of hard to read my list, but I was like singing along to Fergalicious, and I was just like vibing really good with those moves. I was messing around. They said, like even some of the people, they were like, dude, that was some good dance moves you're doing. I said I was feeling Fergalicious, having a little joke going on with it. But yeah, I was like, all the dance moves I do, it's just like I'm catching vibes, whatever song they're playing. The only time I got one dance move that's like strict for it is if they play Pump It Up, which normally they'll do it in the beginning of the game, and I'll get on the board, and that's when I do this because I'm like pumping it up with them. And that's after that. After the like first 3 innings is they'll play the song, because after the national anthem, they'll usually put it on me, and I'll do a stare down with the camera to have fun with it.
Okay, so
But, yeah, like
you've have experience. So even before regionals and super regionals, you've been playing with the cameraman for a while. He just knows you're there, and he just goes directly at you. So this has been going on for a while. So hell yeah.
Exactly. And it's always been the camera down the first base line. Like I've gotten on camera with the third base camera like a few times. I didn't get on the camera with the center field camera, I don't think until regionals, because it was for I think it was Sam Houston State, Oregon State game when they played again, and it was the 1-1 game. Or it could have been, yeah, it had to be that game, because I did a thing on my phone, which I got the picture, and I did a thing on Snapchat with a thing that said, hi, Ben, to mess around with them and have a good time. And I just raised it to, just raised it to the camera, and then I just see that guy just immediately move the camera right to me. And during that time, because like he can swap back and forth, okay, he's going to be on the video board, or I'm going to do this broadcast for TV, and he put that broadcast on the TV.
Did you ever do any one of those like dance offs like they do in Tiger Stadium? Like, you got the best dance moves, you'll win free Raising Cane's for life, like they do for the football games?
They didn't really do the Caniac Maniac much this season like they did last season, but like over the regionals and supers, they did like a little dance battle thing. And let me tell you, they got like an 80-year-old guy that does it, that he made it on the board before during the season because he'd been to majority of the home games. And like, I tried all I could, and I'm like, I can't compete with this old guy. This, like, seeing him doing that, I'm just like they had one time in supers, they put him first and then me, and I'm like, do not put me on the board, because once he gets going, like, I'm like, I can't compete. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't compete with this old guy.
I'm pretty sure like you got a big. Who had the loudest ovation, you or the old man?
Oh, it had to be the old man, because I was even cheering for the old man.
Oh, that's team spirit right there. That's right. But man, after you blew, I mean, did you notice you got shown on TV and then your phone just started blowing up with people back at home like, oh my God, you're on national TV?
Yes. So, like, if you go, I'm gonna see if I can link it. So I'm gonna see if I can link it in the chat with the TikTok.
While you figure that out, is the bucket wearing off your head, or did you just tear it off enough to fit around your head?
So what I did was I cut, so like, as you can see here, like I cut it down the line at the seam to wear it as a hat. And then like over the course of the year, when people celebrating with me, and like it being worn throughout the whole season, kind of like that line in the back that you seen at the top. It just tears. I mean, there's only so much I can do to where there's only so much I can do to keep the bucket in the best shape that it can.
Have you had people come up to you like after the game, like, "Oh my God, you're so cool. I want a picture with you," and all that?
Yes, like so. And that TikTok I just linked in the chat for you to click on. That's the one with Josh Pearson that I was trying to show him. And if you look in that video when they said when it goes to the part how it ended, I looked at my watch because I was reading a text message actually, and then I just started going apeshit. And then I don't even think I was looking at the camera. The camera shows that I was looking at it. And if I'm honest, I do not remember if I was even looking at the camera. I think I just went ape. I think I just went ape shit because like Josh hit the home run and we were all excited. I mean, this is regionals.
Well, they hit it at the right time because when I saw you back on TV again after the home run, they had you like, let's go. They didn't show you looking at the watch until they put it on TikTok. And I'm like, holy shit, that made the video even 10 times better. And look at the numbers
and I mean,
on that video. Over 2,000 likes. I mean, I don't know how many views it has, but I know it has
to have over 15,000, 20,000. And the thing is like, so like Sunday, after the first time I made it on TV, I've had a few people buzzing and everything. And I think after Josh's home run was when it fully blew up. And like from Sunday after the LSU game till Sunday during the LSU game till Monday after the LSU game, my phone did not stop. Like my phone went dead because I was getting so many people trying to text me on Sunday, I believe. My phone went dead because I have so many people texting me that they kept seeing me on TV and everything like that. And actually, I went to sleep Sunday. Sunday night, went to bed. I woke up Monday morning with over 25 TikTok notifications with that video alone through different family members reposting it, tagging me in it, that I'm in the video. And I was like,
that's like
this is crazy.
That's like me on my birthday. Like my phone just don't stop ringing nonstop. People telling me happy birthday that it dies halfway through the day. So like when my birthday comes, I just got to keep it on a charger most of the day.
Yeah.
Or it won't stop going off. I mean, were all the comments and everything positive? Like they didn't had no negative, like saying, "Oh, this is stupid" and whatnot. I mean, you know, they got stupid people in this world these days.
So I mean, the only time negative comments happen is, so NCAA baseball posted me Monday saying how like I'm a vibe and everything, that I was at the game dancing. They're like, dude, you're a vibe. And they got this one girl that like her and her little clique of friends hate me. Like they can't stand me for some reason. And I was talking with one of the Landmark guys and I was talking with a different guy. And you know, like we all came to the conclusion and it makes perfect sense is they're jealous of me getting all this attention and everything because they think that they're entitled to the attention because like they're always at the gates when they're open. They always here when the gates open. They're always here for every home game like I am.
Okay, so these are girls that go to LSU.
And it's girls and guys. Like they always like when I get on the video board, they always boo. Like if you hear people booing when I got on the video board, it was them. Like I had one of my buddies.
Oh god.
I had one of my buddies.
Sorority.
No, they're not.
Wow,
they're not
sorority.
Shocked. They're not sorority or fraternities. The fraternity guys and the sorority guys actually like enjoy me a lot. Like one of the main guys, like some of the guys, and you can kind of tell they're kind of like fraternity sororities because they'll be in a little group. I walk in, they just start screaming Buckethead.
There you go.
But like one of my buddies, me and him were talking for the LSU Oklahoma softball game. I was talking about how they were like booing me and I just didn't get it. He said, yeah, I was booing with them because I didn't know what we were booing at. They just started booing. I joined in. I said, yeah, they're booing at me because they don't like seeing me on the board. And then after that, he's like, that's insane, you know?
Just shows
and then they also was like saying, you know, that my jokes I would use to heckle the right foot are repetitive and they get tired of it and everything like that. And I'm like, y'all know where I stand. Y'all know where I sit, but yet y'all don't come talk to me. It was like, y'all could have came and talked to me. I'm a good guy to work around with. I was like, all you gotta do is come down and say, hey, you know what you're saying is kind of getting a little repetitive. We heard it so many games so far. Do you mind trying new things and everything? Because like, I would admit I was saying some like messed up things when I first started wearing the bucket, but I fixed it over the half of the season last year. and I haven't gotten back into it. Like I've just been saying stuff, but I wasn't saying the crazy stuff like other students were saying now, because they got some stuff. Some of the other students will say, I even look and go, God damn, like that's crazy what you're saying. And like, I don't even say that anymore. And that's but I just let them go on Twitter. So like back to the story. So NCAA baseball posted me saying that they're valuable. This one girl, and she's one of the main ones that don't like me. She commented on Instagram and the Twitter page, the post, saying that, you know, hey guys, there's still time to delete the video. Like, but I'm like, I'll just look at it. I'm like, I didn't respond to her. I did one time and I probably shouldn't have. But I'm like, I'm just looking at it as like, you're kind of like so miserable in your life that you don't like seeing other people have positive things going on. Like, yeah, you don't like me having fun. Like that's why I do it. I don't do this for my own satisfaction. I do it because, you know, I get happy when I meet other fans that tell me, it's like, dude, it's cool seeing you in person, that I've always seen you on TV. You know, it's cool seeing you. I like what you're doing in the student section. I like that you're having fun. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just kind of bringing a little fun to the student section and stuff. And that's all I'm trying to do. And I'm just like, I let them comment their negative things to make them look like jackasses, make them look crazy. And I sit back and laugh at it, because I'm like, how do you, like, you don't like this to yourself? Like, you're in a student section for a reason. And I just let them talk about it. I let them say what they want, because they want to be trigger happy Twitter fingers instead of actually come and sit down and talk with me.
I get, you know, you're not out of control in the student section. You just play it cool. You know, you're not like, I mean, I'm not comparing you to like D'Angelo Sanchez. I mean, I know how very outgoing he gets, especially at softball games, because I've seen Twitter and the rest of the social media world have a 50-50 love and hate for him. Like, a lot of people love his passion, but man, he could get so out of control at softball games. Maybe not too much for football games, because when I met D'Angelo, he was actually a downhearted guy. I get his love and passion, but I mean, you're just like in your lane. You're not like running and scattering, running up and down, getting in people's way. You're just like in your own zone, cheering on. And they just because they didn't think of it first.
Exactly. And like, even like my friends I would always be with, I mean, they would always, you know, be the heckling part. You know, I would join in with the heckling, because I mean, you're in the student section in right field. I mean, what do you expect out of us? You expect us to be quiet? And this is what I was telling them. I was like, if you want a quiet, you know, you want a quiet student section baseball game, go to UL. All right. Their student section don't know how to be like ours. I mean,
I know how they act for football and basketball and whatnot, but not too much baseball. I don't really go to the Teague often. I don't even think I've ever really went after they renovated it not long ago. But since you like really blew up with the bucket, is this strictly only for LSU baseball, or are you going to take it along to Death Valley and the Deaf Dome, or the PMAC, whatever you want to call it?
So here's the thing that I've been like thinking. So I wore the bucket for the first 2 rounds of women's basketball last season. I mean, you probably seen me. I made it on TV when we played Michigan in the round of 32, because they had a camera guy for ESPN right underneath the goal.
I didn't watch that game. I was working, so I didn't watch that one.
This is no joke. I can send you the video because my nanny sent it to me. I'm not joking. So the ESPN guy that's underneath the goal, he would come up to the student section for certain bits. And one of the bits, we had like a good run going. Michigan didn't score. So we went to a timeout after we had a jump ball, and he just ran up to me, put the camera in my face, and just said, "Go nuts."
Okay.
And, you know, dude tells me to go nuts. Guess what I'm going to do?
You're going to go nuts.
I'm going to go nuts. Exactly. And, you know, I kind of enjoyed it with it. And then, so like, I kind of enjoyed it also because when the team came, I kind of felt accomplished, because when the team came by and was congratulating, Flaw J came, just ran up to me, grabbed my bucket and just shook it. So I'm like, kind of felt a little accomplished. So I might try. I might try next season. I might try to get in talks with the Balcony Bengals, because they go to every men's and women's basketball game at home, and they're kind of like me, but for basketball season.
Okay.
So I might go in talks with them and see, you know, if I should bring the bucket to basketball to help bring bring some of that energy the student section is going to need, because especially for women's basketball, we're going to need the most energy we can for the student section because we're defending the national title. And the future for men's basketball is bright with the recruits and the transfers that Matt McMahon's bringing so far this year. So I might be in talks with them. Only other time I wore it was for women's soccer last fall, because we had round 1 at home, and one of the captains of the team recognized me from baseball season, and I've stayed in talk with her the whole time, and told her jokingly, I said, might have to bring the bucket out for round 1, and she said, please do. We want that energy for round 1, along with you playing the drums, because they got like a drum set, a bunch of different drums for the students to beat on and stuff and go nuts with. And I went to basically about 95% of the home matches and was just beating on the drums for them. So they told me, to say, we need you to bring the bucket along with beating on the drums for round 1. So I did that. But for football, the bucket is out of the picture because student section gets way too rowdy for the bucket. That bucket is not going to survive. Baseball is going to continue going.
You might have to upgrade, get you a new bucket, like put that like in a Hall of Fame or something. So I already got comments coming in. This my co-hosts. You've actually met these guys. Like when I told them, you remember the day you and I met Paul Maneri for the Central Michigan game? And yes. I told you, oh, we're going to meet 2 of my buddies I do a wrestling podcast with. That's the guys that just commented. And I told them, hey, Bucket, if you don't remember, Buckethead's the guy you met at the Central Michigan game. And they were like, oh, shit, really? I'm like, yeah. That's him. He just lost weight. Because he works out.
Like I think for Central Michigan, I think I was still around 220, 225, and right now I'm like right now I'm 178.
Are you meal prepping?
So I meal prepped. I had a workout plan going, and actually I've been in prep for a bodybuilding show in July, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it anymore because of a hip injury that I'm going to actually see the doctor for on Monday, which can most likely hold me out from it.
How many total home games you've been to this season at the Bucs, you think? Every single one or not every one?
I've only missed 3.
Ooh. Damn.
And they were all midweek games. They were Central Arkansas, Lamar, and I think I missed 4. Because I missed McNeese because I was at home for my internship. Central Arkansas, Lamar, and Grambling, because those 3 I've had stuff going on with school. And my thing is I came to LSU for education purposes, not to like have fun with this. So I'm always going to take my education first over, doing the bucket, doing this and that.
That's understandable.
And I had stuff going on regarding school, so I didn't go to the game. I stayed back, did all my schoolwork that I needed to get done.
If you ever get a chance to like make a road game, like especially an SEC road game, where would you like to bring the bucket to for baseball? Like, would you like to go to Arkansas, maybe Florida, Vanderbilt, Alabama, Georgia, A&M, Missouri?
So next season, I'm pretty sure we're going to be playing Mississippi State at the Dude. And I might actually go to the Dude for that weekend series because some of the Mississippi State students that are always in the Dude, commented on the post saying that, that it would be a fun time having me in there, and saying that, we don't care that you're an LSU student. We don't care that you're an LSU fan. You're always invited to the party burn. And I told him jokingly, I said, I might even bring some extra buckets for the other party burn people to wear. And then like the person that runs the party burn Twitter page commented and said, the army of popcorn buckets versus the party burn would be bigger and better than the 3-game series.
There you go. What was one of those hype wins that got you so hyped this season, like all season long? Like let's like at least 3 games that they won that you wanted them to win so bad that they won.
Oof. Regional final for sure. Second game of the Supers for sure. Man, regular season, oh, Arkansas series, I was hyped. Tennessee series, I was hyped. I think it was probably mainly the Arkansas series and the Tennessee series.
Mine was the win over Texas in Round Rock when they did the.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't play them. We played them. I think it was Tuesday after Round Rock.
Well, I'm the one where they won 3-0. I don't know if that. I thought that was in Round Rock. I think it was in Baton Rouge. I don't even remember. I just remember watching it and they won 3-0.
Or was that Kansas State?
That was Kansas.
Played,
that was Kansas State.
And I just sent you the video of on Messenger with me in round 2.
Oh, against Michigan. Okay. Yeah, I'll say that game. A&M was a big one for me that I watched, and I think it was the last game against Arkansas, or it was the second game where they like shut them out.
For which team?
Against Arkansas.
Probably, I think it had to be the second game because we lost the first game.
Might have been the second one. Y'all won I think it was 8-0 or something like that.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, the third game of Kentucky, I got pretty hyped for it because of what they did to us in the second game. How I think it was their third baseman or shortstop, Peter, how he kind of mocked us by hitting the Tommy with his little lip out, thinking he was hot shit because they beat us. And we just came back in the third game and pounced it right on them. Because there's not a lot of times that you can tell a team is playing pissed off. And that was one of the games that you can just tell we were playing pissed off.
Speaking of pissed off, what about that first game with Kentucky in Super Regionals? Yeah, I was supposed to have a 2 p.m. start, but it got pushed all the way to 9 p.m. because of lightning alert. And every time I kept checking, I would see sunny skies, nothing, but they were saying all the lightning ratio was 8 or 10 miles away. And y'all were delayed. I'm pretty sure y'all were getting furious, and I heard people were leaving. Some people partied outside the ballpark. I mean, what did you do for 7 hours before the first pitch?
So I went and hang out with a friend of mine at her tailgate and stuff. And we just chilled out. Essentially what they done is they cleared out the whole stadium because Jay Johnson said the Friday night that we're not going to play a game until I see there's a 3-hour window that we can play, because he don't want to burn Skeens and then have to throw in a whole nother pitcher. He don't want to do what he did for South Carolina and try to get Skeens to get back and get hot. He don't want to do what he did for the 1-0 game, I believe, that he started Floyd, got a delay, we burned Floyd, and then threw in Hurd. Because I think that kind of messed up Jay's starting rotation, because I think he would have went Skeens, Floyd, Hurd in regionals. But since he threw Hurd in relief of Floyd and Hurd shut him down, and for how many pitches he threw, that's why he started Cooper. But in between the hours, I think of 5 to 7, it was all the NCAA guy, because the NCAA sent an actual committee guy to the site. And if he says we cannot play, we cannot play. So I think between the hours of 5 to 7, maybe 8, was all that guy, because he just kept saying, we can't play, we can't play, we can't play. There's lightning here, we can't play. Hell, I think he said we couldn't play because the lightning got struck in Little Rock. All right. It was just him just kept saying, we can't play, we can't play, we can't play. And once that guy says it, Jay Johnson's arms are tied.
What about some of the players? I mean, I know they probably had got the hype with the bucket too, maybe got like Skeens probably, to Dylan Cruz, Trey Morgan, even some of our locals that from the area that play with them, from Ethan Fry, Gavin Guidry, Josh Stevenson, and Garrett Edwards. Did any of them ever recognize you too with the bucket or come talk to you?
Not necessarily. I mean, I wasn't kind of big on staying back and meeting with the team and stuff normally. I mean, I did it for the last game of Stoopers to try to get Paul to sign it because having Ben McDonald and Paul Skeens on the bucket, you know, two of the best LSU pitchers in history on the bucket, that's literally priceless. I think the only one that was like when I said what Riley Cooper did, how he pointed to me and ran up to me and everything. Other than that, I mean, I don't really know how the rest of the baseball team felt with the bucket. I mean, I could sense that they probably got hyped with it, that they, you know, seen the energy I would bring and how hype I would get and everything like that, that they're like, okay, we need to feed off we can feed off this guy's energy to help, you know, bring the energy within the dugout and everything. I mean, I kind of like a mix up right now with the team, to be honest with you. But I will say recently, a couple days ago, actually, Griffin Herring followed me on Instagram. And
there you go.
How he found my Instagram, I really don't know. The only thing I can say is he must have looked at one of my comments I left on LSU Baseball's Insta post or something. And because my profile picture on Instagram is me pointing at the camera. And he seen that I was the bucket and he hit the follow button.
There you go. That's what's up. Now, over the years, of all the years I've been to baseball games at the Bucks, there really never was a student section. Well, now all of a sudden they use the outfield as a student section. Like, how did that all get started? Like, was that just the spot to put them at, or was there another place they tried to go? I mean, like, I got a student section for baseball. We've needed that years ago. I mean, you got one of course, in Death Valley, and of course in the PMAC, and I'm pretty sure they got one in the softball stadium, maybe not, or maybe at the soccer stadium or whatnot. But all of a sudden, how did they just decide, let's put a student section in the box?
So apparently, this is through talking with Art, which is the landmark guy that's always for the student section. From what I've been understanding with him, with talking about it, the whole diamond deck used to be student section and partial general admission as well. But in 2020 with COVID and 2021, still having to attendant restrictions and everything, they cut it in half and have the right center side of the diamond deck just be strictly for the students. And then the right field foul line area of the diamond deck be for the general admission people and stuff.
I saw they added a new jumbo, like a new screen in the box. Like, you had that big giant screen, and then they had one by the student section. I just realized that. They must have just added that.
I want to say they might have added that in between the 2018, 2019 season, because when I went in 2018, when we played A&M, we didn't have that. So it had to be added then, and that's just mainly for the lineups.
Well, the last time I went to a game at the Bucks, it was regionals in 2019. Against Southern Miss, Arizona State. Stony Brook was already eliminated. I went to the final day where I got to see Arizona State and Southern Miss playing an elimination game. Southern Miss won, and they played LSU, which LSU only needed one more win, because if Southern Miss would have won, they'd have had to play another game the Monday morning, but LSU won the only game that night, and they moved on to Super Regionals, and that was the last time I was there, and that was kind of a check off the bucket list because I've always wanted to attend a regional, and I did. Still yet is a super regional, which I would have loved to have attended it last weekend, but with that long rain delay and everything, I'm like, I'm kind of glad I didn't go to that.
Yeah,
and
it was like even
so
it was
priced.
And it was like even with the delay, because actually, so I did an interview with WBRZ. Reporter texted me. And he wanted to do a story, about Jay Johnson buying the student tickets for the Super Regionals. Well, actually, coming up for the second game, I get a text message from the same reporter. Hey, I'm doing a story about the long delay and how rowdy the student section was. Do you want to do it? So I said, yeah. So he was asking me, how we felt with the delay, how I felt, how I thought the fans felt, including me, along with the other students going on. And you watch that video and I'll say, all it did was essentially bring us to a night game at the box. It had a late start at 9. We were going to finish late. We don't care. We didn't care. We were going to get rowdy for our Diamond Boys. We were going to get loud. We were going to get rowdy because Jay Johnson needed that energy for the game. And that's what helped propel us to a 14-0 victory that night.
I think they learned their lesson. If they ever put y'all that late in a delay again, be prepared for a massive shutout because y'all ended up winning that game 14-0 over Kentucky in the first game. I want to say I think it ended in 7 innings, but it might have went to 9.
We went 9. We don't do run rules in postseason. We follow NCAA rules.
Okay, see, because I think I turned it off after the 6th inning because like it was so bad. I'm like, stick a fork in it, it's over. And then I went to bed and I woke up and I was like, oh shit, they won 14-0. I should have just stayed up and watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, now y'all get to meet another SEC team once again, like y'all did in the regular season. Y'all playing Tennessee, which when y'all played them in the regular season, y'all did win the series 2-1. Y'all won the first 2 games, and then y'all fell in the last one 14-7. I mean, it shouldn't be no-brainer. I mean, I think they know what to do. They know them really well. They've already played them 3 times in the regular season. Any word? I mean, who's going to be starting on the mound for them? Is it going to be Skeens? Is it going to be Cooper?
So here's the thing. I was talking actually with my dad about it on the phone and talking with I think I was talking with my dad on the phone actually about it. I'm thinking we're going to throw Skeens tomorrow. People may call me crazy, say, why don't we throw Floyd? If we throw Skeens tomorrow, we'll have them available and ready to go for game 1 of the Chip series.
Mm-hmm.
Because we also have Wake Forest and Stanford playing tomorrow. I have a feeling both of those teams are going to throw their aces tomorrow because both of their offenses are really potent. I got a feeling that game, if one of them teams score higher than 5 runs, I would be surprised, which is possible. But with their aces they're going to throw, it's going to be hard. And Jay Johnson said today, they prepared for all their pitchers. So I'm expecting to see Skeens versus either Dolander or Burns.
All right.
I think Tennessee can possibly start Burns, with him hitting the heat like Skeens has. And then seeing they might look at it as like, of course, this was early in the season when we played Iowa. Iowa threw their pitcher that threw 102 miles an hour. That was one game. I seen that first pitch. It was 102. Yeah, it was in dirt. I looked at myself and said, yeah, we're going to lose this game. That was the only game I looked at. That was the only game I looked and I said, we're going to lose because he was hitting the same velocity as Skeens. But the bad part was he just didn't really have that much control. But it's hard to hit a baseball going 102 miles an hour. I mean, there's no 2 ways about it.
Did you hear it from the other side of the field? Because, some people say when they throw a pitch over 100 miles, you can hear it hit the glove.
Oh, yeah, I've heard it a few times. I've heard Skeens like fastballs when it hits Travinsky's glove a few times.
Yeah. Now, you're also at all the football games, but you don't wear the bucket, which with football season coming up, the Magic, they've been saying lately the magic number is 2 right now because, in Kim Mulkey's 2nd season, she won a national title for the women's basketball team. In Jay Johnson's 2nd season, he brought LSU to the College World Series. Does Brian Kelly have that high advantage of bringing at least them to an SEC championship and a college football playoff appearance in only year 2?
I think the biggest worry for Brian Kelly is college football playoff because he already made it to an SEC title game last year. Which I'll be honest with you, Florida just hit a nuke.
Uh-oh. So I got on watching SmackDown right now.
They're now down 4-3. I'm trying to see who hit it because I have no clue who number 15 is. Whoever Rio Pella is. So this is just me. I'm looking at it as a hypothetical standpoint. People look at me like I'm crazy that we had no business being in that SEC title game. And they were like, oh, but Max Johnson, we threw for over 500 yards against Georgia, especially in the second half. I was like, that was after they put their 2nd string in. If you didn't realize when their starters was in, we couldn't move the damn ball. We had no business going in there. But this season, I think Brian Kelly's biggest thing is making it to the playoffs. But it's also the thing is with the SEC, especially in the West, we can't focus on the future. We have to focus every week on that game. Mm-hmm. Because no matter what, we can lose that game, no matter what. We have to focus on each game every week.
What game or 2 are you looking forward to the most this upcoming season in football?
Surprisingly, I'm not saying like people look at it surprising. I can't wait to watch us play Army
I'm
because
waiting for
Army
that
runs that
halftime show, especially
Army.
Grambling.
Yeah, Grambling's halftime show is going to be really good. But I can't wait to watch us play Army because with the wing T formation that they run, and then I'm kind of waiting for how Bama and LSU is going to turn out because we just beat Bama in Baton Rouge, and then now we're going back to play them in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, they got that marked on their calendar. They're gonna treat this like Michigan, Ohio State because they're like that wasn't supposed to happen. Well, it happened. Brian Kelly went for 2 and we won. I didn't even think. Like I've said that. Like I didn't expect Jaden Daniels to score on the first play of our possession and then go for 2 and get the 2-point conversion.
And I'm surprised. So like, if you watch back on that play. If you watch back on it, they missed a penalty on Mason Taylor on Jaden's touchdown.
I remember that, and the Bama fans
they missed the block in the back, which it wasn't a blatant block in the back, but it was there because I just kept seeing it, and after I've seen it, I can't miss it from now on. But I don't know if it was Lacey or Neighbors. They made a block on Riggs, and that's what helped Mason's block, and then that block on Eli Riggs helped Jaden Daniels get in the end zone because they just opened up that edge.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna first say the Florida State game because I still can't get over losing that opening game last year, and I feel like it's gonna be more of redemption. Like they're out, y'all embarrassed us in front of our home state neutral site. We're gonna do the same for you guys in Orlando, and then they're. Which one do you think will be homecoming, Auburn or Army? Because it's always mid-October. That's LSU's tradition. They do homecoming around mid-October.
I want to say there is a possibility it can be Army.
See, that's what I'm going to assume too. And obviously senior night's A&M alumni band will probably be in Florida or possibly Georgia State.
Yeah,
they always do that around November.
Yeah, and then Florida State can be an also exciting matchup also because we're having Mason Smith back from injury. And Florida State game last year was where he got hurt, celebrating on the turf. But it's turf. You can get hurt by just walking normally on turf.
Yeah. But
he was celebrating a big moment. Mason was celebrating a big moment. He made a big time play in a crunch time. Stuff happens. And then we're having, Wingo coming back, Wingo locked down to 3 tech. And then having Mason come back as that big 1 tech. Our interior D line is going to be really solid. And then having Harold coming off the edge.
Yeah. I'll probably be more, I don't know if I'm going to be more hyped for Auburn at home this year or Florida, because that's like the two I'm like ready to see, especially after 2 years ago. We watched Auburn at 8:00 at night, and it was after midnight when the game was over and we lost. And then Florida, the last 2 times I went to the Florida game, 2019, one of my all-time favorite games until Bama last year. We just, Joe Burrow and them beat the living dog shit out of Florida, and College Game Day was over there and did the whole, and then my cousin winning Homecoming King all that same night. It was just the greatest night ever until November 5th of last year when they beat Alabama in overtime. So Bama last year was my greatest LSU game I've ever attended. My second best would be Florida of 2019 because of living that, being able to do the VIP thing, like just with him being on homecoming court. I was treated like royalty. I got to eat lunch with the court and the family. We got to run down the hill with the band. I got to be on the sideline during warm-ups. So I was about 10 feet away from Joe Burrow, but I just couldn't cross the line to go try and shake his hand and touch him. So I was about 10 feet from him and Jamar Chase and company. And man, it was one of the best nights ever until that Bama game. But a few days ago, the SEC announced their 2024 opponents for all the teams, and now you can include Texas and Oklahoma because they will join the SEC in 2 years. Unfortunately, I still say to this day that we got robbed hosting Texas because we were supposed to host them the year COVID happened, and we were supposed to host them in 2024, but they changed it. We're going to host Oklahoma, and we're going to possibly go to Austin in 2025, most likely. So it's just weird how, like, they're not going by – I guess they're not going by East and West. They're gonna just kind of scatter it around like they're doing with. Like
So
this,
so what they did is they just went away with the divisions.
And I feel like
Because
I feel like the only
'cause of what
rivalry
I'm-
that might shut down is Auburn because we're playing all our rivals in the 2024 season except Auburn.
Yeah. I think the only thing they just kept going from every meeting going on is like the 3 teams you're going to solid play, in which my 3 teams, which people always argue with me, my 3 teams was Bama, because LSU and Bama we hated rivals.
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss because it's the Magnolia Bowl.
Yep, it's the
and
oldest
then
SEC
and then
rivalry.
Arkansas for the Golden Boot.
Yep.
We playing our 2 trophy rival games and then Bama.
Yeah,
And then just mix around the 4th.
Well, I wonder
the rest of the games.
I wonder who they're going to end the season with because since Texas is in the SEC, they're bringing back the Lone Star Showdown, so we're not going to end the rivalry with A&M. We're not going to end with Ole Miss because they got to do the Egg Bowl. We're not going to end with Florida because they got to end with Florida State. You can't end with Alabama because it's the Iron Bowl. I'm going to assume they could probably end with Arkansas, but they were ending with Missouri. So unless they're not playing Missouri, I feel like they might go back to closing out with Arkansas.
We could close out with Oklahoma because we are hosting Oklahoma that year.
On rivalry week? But I thought they play the Bedlam Brawl on rivalry week to close out.
Which one? Which game is that? Is that OSU in Oklahoma?
Yeah, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State's Bedlam Brawl. They always end the regular season. I'm going to say Arkansas.
Arkansas can go
because their SEC opponents, the home games is Alabama, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, and Vanderbilt, but they all have rivalries they close out with every year. And Bama's got Auburn, Ole Miss got Mississippi State, Oklahoma's got Oklahoma State, and Vanderbilt's got Tennessee. And for away, we got Arkansas, Florida, South Carolina, and A&M. We were ending with A&M, but now they're going to bring back the Lone Star Showdown and do it on Black Friday. South Carolina always ends with Clemson because it's the Palmetto Bowl. Florida ends with Florida State. So that just gives us Arkansas. I think they could close out, bring back that tradition, playing Arkansas the day after Thanksgiving. And instead of playing it so early, like this year, we're playing Arkansas in mid-September.
Which I don't know why. We always play them. We always play them, the week right after Bama.
We either play them the week after Bama or back in the day, we closed out the regular season with them on Black Friday. And I've been to watch them play Arkansas 3 times. The only time I saw them in the traditional rivalry, 2005, we played them the day after Thanksgiving. Well, actually, no, twice. 2013 also. And then the last time I saw them play Arkansas was 2 years ago, and we played them like the week after Alabama, and we lost. I remember leaving at halftime because it was a shitty game.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm
it's just like the only thing we can do is just wait for the dates and find out who we're gonna do. I mean, as long as we know who the opponents are now. Another thing also is we're also hosting UCLA at home too.
Ooh, I can't wait for that one.
I also want to say I do believe USC and UCLA maybe play, I think, in mid-October. They usually play mid-season.
Mm-hmm.
So we could finish out with UCLA, Big Ten school, SEC school,
I think they already had the date scheduled for that. I thought we were playing UCLA like week 3 or something because for the 2024 season, they're opening up with USC in Vegas, and then their home openers against Nichols, and then I thought week 3 was UCLA.
It's just at this point, all we can do is just wait for the actual schedule to get released. I mean, to see how the dates are going to fall out.
So, but I will say this too, when it comes to all this and everything, damn, I got sidetracked here. Okay, here we go. I got distracted by TV. With Texas and Oklahoma coming to the SEC, you can guarantee a lot of college game day trips. Like, I'm pretty sure when Texas goes to Alabama this year, game day is going to be in Tuscaloosa. When Oklahoma comes to LSU, I can guarantee college game day coming for that. Or when Georgia plays Oklahoma, I can see game day going to that. When Texas,
I can tell you. I can tell you one site that game day is going to be at in 2024.
What's that?
Georgia versus Bama.
Oh God, yeah. It might be a whole
That's the
different
only site.
scenario.
That's the only site I know for sure that game day would be at.
Well, this will be my last question before we wrap it up. I'll just bring up something. LSU women's basketball. In just Kim Mulkey's second year, we win the national championship, and I know all season they've been hyped. I've seen games where it was sold out. We've had friends of ours that were season ticket holders, and I think I watched more women's basketball games this season than I've ever had in my life. Ever since Kim Mulkey arrived on the scene, I was able to go to one game last year, but it wasn't at the PMAC. I watched them at the Cajun Dome against UL. My first time seeing Kim Mulkey up close, and I got to see all that. I want to say, I think Morris was on the team still, and I think that was Angel Reese's first year at LSU. Was 2021? Yeah, so I got to see Angel Reese.
No. Reese's first year at LSU was this past season.
Okay, so she wasn't there. So I'm gonna try and make a game next season because I want to see Angel Reese play in person because she's a baller. But tell us the hype, like how hyped it was, especially after they won the national championship. Like, what was all that like? I know they did a champions parade for them and everything, which they deserved it. What was going through the campus after Kim Mulkey brought them their very first national title in women's basketball?
I mean, it was hell going around campus, even with classes. I mean, it was just, a crazy feeling, walking around, seeing the newspaper stands for the campus newspaper, and all you seeing is, us hosting the trophy. Like, I got the newspaper hanging up on my wall next to the newspaper of the Bama game. I mean, it was just like insane. I mean,
yeah, I need to get that one. I still never ordered it, but I do have. I have the last one I've collected was when they won it against Clemson, the one with Joe Burrow holding his two fingers up. It said perfect. That's the last one I bought, and I was gonna order the one after they beat Alabama because I had it like in the cart. I just never ordered it, and then when I saw when they won, I was thinking about it, I was like, I kind of want to order the one with Kim Mulkey and then when they won it because I feel like that would be perfect to add to the rest of the ones I have.
I'm telling you right now, Kim's going back.
Oh, yeah. They're going back to the Final Four. They have a chance to go back-to-back.
With that team she's building now, people outside of here, like people outside the students and that are outside the diehard followers, they don't realize the monster she's building right now for the team.
Well, she picked up that girl from DePaul, and they picked up that girl from Louisville. Yeah.
And that's
going to be
even
stacked.
with adding – and that's adding, Michaela Williams, and they saying she can be a starter.
Probably my main goal, I have to try and make at least one game at the PMAC as a defending national champ because I got to see the Bayou Barbie play. Like I followed her throughout that first year, and now she's just like one of the top female players in the country and a potential first round pick when she gets when that time comes when she decides to go into the pros. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it because I'm following her on Twitter and Instagram and everything, and she's just like being a champion, like just going all over the country, all over the world. Have you ever got to meet her yet?
Just whenever she passed by and high-fived the team after the games in rounds 1 and 2. And that's also the crazy thing that I could touch around here is we don't run into the athletes around campus. We don't run into them. There's only, I think, 2 times I ran into some athletes, and there was one time I passed by Cruz and Thompson. I was walking to the Union, and they were in front of me, and I'm like, who's that? I could tell they were athletes, but I'm like, who are those? That's when I realized how big and built Dylan Cruz was, because then we passed each other again, and I seen who it was, and I'm like, he blew me away, because I knew Dylan was stout, seeing him play last season and this year, but seeing him close up in person, he is ginormous.
Oh yeah.
Same thing with
about
Thompson.
Joe Burrow too. When I was standing next to Joe Burrow, he was damn near 6 foot. He was way taller than me.
I think the only athlete I would see not on a regular basis, but I've seen more than once, was Cardell Thomas, because he would sit in the quad. He would sit outside in the quad in between classes before he transferred out. But yeah, like we don't really bump into the athletes a lot because they have like certain buildings that they go to for their classes and everything, and they have certain times for the classes to where they don't. I'm not saying like conjugate with all the other students, but like to where they can get to their classes, do their classes, and then be off at these times so they can go do recovery, do their practices, do their film studies, and everything.
Yeah. Well, man, this was great. Thank you again for coming on and sharing your story. Hope you enjoy watching the College World Series. Oh, yeah, no problem. If you ever want to come back and talk LSU, especially with football, we'll have to get you back on. But real quick before you go, let them know where they can find you on social media.
Y'all can find me on Instagram, Keagan, the way my name's spelled on here, Keagan, _61. And Florida just hit another home run. Bad thing nobody was on base. You can follow me on TikTok, Keagan _61. And then you can find me on TikTok, Keagan _61.
Hell yeah. Of course, I follow you on everything. I mean, including Facebook and Instagram and whatnot. So, and Snapchat. So, I mean, we talk occasionally.
Yeah.
So this is great. But yeah, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can follow me again on Twitter at MarkSlee337. SAT Sports does have a Twitter page that Driving to the Top Production runs at SAT Sports 89. Be sure to check out all of Driving to the Top Production stuff. But this is SAT Sports, part of a Driving to the Top Productions. Keagan, thank you again. I'll catch you around next time you're back in town. You know, we'll talk and whatnot. Maybe next time I come to Baton Rouge, I'll probably find you in the student section, which I did move my seats for football. I'm going to be in the south end zone now. I got to get some shade. I'm getting too old for this shit. I mean, I'm going to miss being by the band, but I will not miss getting hit with beer bottles by the fraternities. And not have to be a Karen and go complain to the security. But so this was fun, man. But thank you for tuning in. Everyone listening, we'll see you guys next week.
All right, see you.